We're back again with some more Dead by Daylight killer lore. Listen, this is like part 3 technically, because we did the entity lore, we did the doctor, and now we're doing the twins. Yeah, how do you feel about this?
They are like the most disgusting two I've seen in the damn thing. It is the most vile shit. I don't understand the concept creation. Somebody's like, "Ooh, we should have something coming out." That is the most.
It's disgusting.
No, get help. I pray for you. I pray for you. You need help. But who? Why? Somebody explain this to me.
If you guys haven't got onto it by now, I'm a horror lover. And Homie here is a horror hater, so we have this cool little dynamic on this channel. And Homie hates everything to do with fucking horror, gore, and everything. So that's the whole point of the channel. Subscribe. I'm excited for this, because I think the twins are funny as fuck, not gonna lie.
They're disgusting as fuck.
God damn. Yeah. But today we will be checking out the lore of the twins. This is by Single Player Nacho, so remember, check him out. His link will be down in the description. You can go and check the original video that we're about to react to. And this is going to be kind of short, it's only 14 minutes, but it's time we learn about the twins, the goats, the champions, the pure horror element of Dead by Daylight. You can't wait, right?
Oh god.
You can't wait.
No, I could definitely wait. I can wait an eternity, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, why don't you do on your own?
Yeah, I'll play shit.
What's up, guys? Single Player Nacho here. Today we have a very creepy video planned. We're taking an in-depth look at the lore behind the twins in Dead.
That's disgusting as fuck, bro.
First of the twins, you said, hell no.
Dead by Daylight. That's right, the French conjoined twins known as Victor and Charlotte Deshays. An absolute sight to behold. I mean, Jesus Christ. You have Charlotte, who has the permanent face of, hey, you just stole my Big Mac. Which, by the way, she has an open chest. I just want to point that out. And then a very disgusting gaping hole in that chest. Very few designs will actually gross me out, but this one with the gaping injury hole is just grotesque. And to add to the grotesqueness, in that chest, which acts as a cave, is a little cave dweller, little demonic Victor Deshays. Now, you can make an argument that Charlotte looks somewhat normal, but Victor is
I don't know if you call that normal, but yeah.
And it would be incorrect to call Victor a baby because the twins are actually the same age. So that's the visual overlook of the twins. Very interesting stuff. What is the backstory behind these two? If it wasn't already obvious, these two are not from our time. They are plucked out of the 17th century where they were born.
I was gonna say they definitely look like
it was actually pretty damn hard for conjoined twins to have been born. So what do we all know about the 17th century? Everyone thought that witches and demons were real. One glance at these two and you would probably believe that as well. So at first Charlotte was born and she seemed like a normal baby, and then attached to her lower chest was a tiny little Victor. To no surprise, the nurse who was delivering these two screamed from the top of her lungs, ran out to find some help to actually arrest the Deshays family. But the Deshays did not stay put. They made their escape, which is pretty surprising, given at those times they would just give the baby up in fear for their own lives. But it goes to show how protective or how close the bond was already, even at the time of birth, that these twins had with their mother Madeline. And so began the French Revolution, if you will. These French villagers looked for one, or in this case, two babies that were thought to have been born out of witchcraft. It's just sad to think that there was this huge commotion over these two newborns. Like, come on, leave them alone. For most of their childhood, the twins only ran away. That's all they learned how to do. Running from camp to camp, village to village, outside of the nosy-ass witch hunters that were looking for them. During this time, the twins' mother was tasked with recovering food, hunting, and getting any kind of nutrition for her two twins, who are now 5 years old. This is 5 years into their escape.
Damn, 5 minutes of running is kind of crazy.
Moving around, the close calls, and the extreme childbirth really put a number on Mother Deshays, and so she started getting older and sicker as a result. 5-year-old Charlotte was put in charge of their lives now. And it's at this point where a 5-year-old is put in charge of the family. You might be asking yourself, where is Father Deshays? Nowhere to be found. This is just a hypothetical thought, but a lot of these superstitious births are a result of mating out of wedlock, or there's some dark discrepancy. So little Charlotte would put on a bunch of clothes that would easily hide Victor underneath her coats.
Damn.
She'd go to food vendors and try to play off this already strange scenario of a 5-year-old asking for food. So little by little, the village people became more and more suspicious of this child, and the Deshays' safety became more and more compromised. So one cold, dark night, the Deshays family's luck finally ran out. The witch hunters successfully found their location, tore their camp down, subdued the
Celebrating the ugly twins dying is crazy.
5-year-old Charlotte and Victor, and an even weaker Madeline Deshays, who was at this point pretty much dead. Now,
oh my God.
I can't help but to feel pretty sad for the Deshays family. They didn't have a choice except to hide from
They were chose to run at birth. That's crazy.
And for their entire childhood,
outcasts
that's all
birth.
they knew. Charlotte and Victor were constantly stared at, suspected, belittled. They weren't normal. It sucks. Their tragedy gets even worse when their mother's screams were no more. During their capture, the twins witnessed their mother's execution.
Oh, that would definitely turn them evil. Holy shit.
Actually took the twins' mother's almost lifeless body to court, where she was convicted for demonship, I guess. And her punishment gets even more brutal. She was to be burned alive at the stake, with their twin babies forced to watch the entire event.
That's crazy.
Yeah, okay, that's a bit overboard.
Look away or turn your heads. But this was the fire that burned
what in the
twins'
Castlevania is going on?
Those hearts were filled with vengeance, violence, and grief. You could actually probably pinpoint this exact moment to where the twins, who were thought to be demons, became the monsters they were seen as. So the twins were caught, Deshays' mother dead. What happens next? While they were still captured by the government of France, this is probably the sickest part of the entire tale. They were sold to a mysterious group. So this entire notion of witchcraft and demon babies was complete bullshit. These hunters just wanted a profit off of these two poor souls.
That's fucked up, man.
Hypocritical and sad.
That's actually
Who was this group and what did they want with the twins? Although they don't have an official name, they were easy to identify because all of the members of this group wore black robes. So you can probably guess where this is headed. This was not a good group of individuals. They just wanted to free the twins. No, they actually performed horrible experiments on them. As these experiments were performed, Victor, little twin baby, became more and more vicious. He would attack his captors with his claws and teeth.
Claws is crazy.
More of the protector of the two twins. So some of the experiments were pretty disturbing. The twins were forcefully examined, stuff like that. But other experiments were tests for who knows what. Little excerpt from their bio states. One day they would be made to break the neck of a small gray bird. The next, they would bleed their fingers into a vase of roses. Every 7th day, they would sleep with the branch of a damp oak beneath their pillow. Then there was the chanting, a never-ending chorus from cloaked figures on scheduled intervals. Now, my interpretation of these experiments is that this group didn't want to know what Charlotte and Victor were, but what they were capable of, for reasons unknown. But as time passed, the necessity of keeping Victor and Charlotte alive was becoming more and more dim. A final ritual was being set up. This would have been the last moment for the twins to escape. As the twins were being propped up for the ritual, in a moment's notice, Victor stretches his tiny little hands as far as he can to drop a group of candles on the floor.
Oh, that's quite smart.
The hooded figure's temple was set ablaze.
Hey, yo, Victor kind of fucking gassed though, not gonna lie.
Low. This was the chance for the twins to finally escape. So Charlotte grabbed Victor and held him tight through the smoke, running towards
Charlotte
an
and Victor
exit
fucking
of the temple.
finessed that shit,
Charlotte
fam.
coughed, and she was running out of oxygen until she ran far away from that temple, far enough to be at a safe distance. As she regained her breath, she checked on her brother Victor, and he did not respond. Charlotte tried her best to revive her brother, but it was too late. The twins had finally escaped persecution after all this time, and they were back on the run, but it came at a cost. So Charlotte decided to keep living, even though she was without her brother, her mother, anyone she ever loved. She'd think to herself, I will live for them. She even kept Victor's dead corpse. Of course, there's no happy ending here. Charlotte continued to hide her identity, running away from that same cultist group, as well as any witch hunters looking to reclaim their prize. Charlotte would turn to a life of crime. She'd steal food from merchants, and when those robberies didn't go her way, she'd murder them. Violence started popping up left and right for Charlotte. Strangely enough, still attached to Charlotte's chest was Victor's corpse, who would not decompose. In fact, His limbs would ooze black pus. It was
Oh.
almost
Wow.
like a crime committed by Charlotte. All of the hatred she gained for humanity went towards Victor's now dead corpse. Years of
Fuck
failed
no.
robbery attempts, on the run from village to camp, and no clear home. Charlotte thought it was time to finally accept her fate. She and her twin brother were a monstrosity, and her life was forever to be persecuted. An extremely cold winter brought Charlotte down to her knees. Her body could not keep up with all the experiments that were conducted on her, and she slowly but surely started to give out. Just
That's
as Charlotte
crazy.
was headed towards the light, a vicious scream pierced her ears. It was her twin brother Victor who'd miraculously come back to life. But
What?
this was not the Victor from before.
It's like a
He
mute.
had a more demonic
Yeah, he's like a
face,
zombie
eyes
now.
filled with bloodlust. He took one look at Charlotte, and he ran towards the forest. Charlotte, who was now filled with life, ran after her brother, as he was the only family she ever knew. You have to remember that Charlotte was still on the run from the black-hooded cultists. The very last thing
And
she
life
needed
in general.
was a commotion to alert them. Charlotte chased and chased through the forest for her brother until she finally cornered him. She found him, but unfortunately, two mysterious hands snatched Victor away from Charlotte, and it disappeared in the fog of the forest. Charlotte knew
What?
who it was. She
Yep.
knew who took her brother. For years and years of running away from them, even the smallest thought or
Oh my god, he
memory
looks
of
like a
them
fucking little goblin
filled her
now.
with hate. It was the cultists coming to collect. Charlotte was no longer thinking about her own death. She was reinvigorated with strength and brute force, grabbed her sickle, and headed towards the city to save her brother Victor. Now, with the origins out of the way, let's look at some items in order to add to
I'm
the
sorry, but these fucking twins, yeah, they look like piece of shit, right? They're evil as
Ah!
fuck. But I also feel like you really fucking depressed for them.
Yeah, I'm just like.
I feel sorry for them. You sound like you are having the time of your life.
No, I'm just like, it's an
Trivia.
interesting story. Still gross to look at. Still fucking gross. We're not getting past that. No fucking way.
That time period where they were in definitely makes sense, like the witch trial
Yeah.
era and things like that. Like, yeah, it's the worst
personification of these
era to be in.
characters. And first up, it's that ceremonial candlestick or candelabrum, which is formerly known as. This is the same candlestick that essentially freed the twins
it's like
from
perks,
the
pretty
cultist
much.
group. If it wasn't for Victor's little tiny
Perks,
baby
yeah, it was
hand, this candlestick
pretty
wouldn't have been
cheesy,
able to start that fire in that temple. Next up, we have a bloody black hood. Now, the annotation here is pretty interesting. It says, a hood from one of the men that hunted Charlotte. Soon,
Cooldown
he
time
became
switching
prey.
Charlotte's
Of
kinda-
course, those
kinda
black-hooded
good, not gonna
cultists
lie, that
tormented
sounds.
Charlotte for so long. I'm sure she sees nothing but red when she sees a black hood. And here's
Can you guys
some
comment down below how many like perks can you put on at a time?
baby teeth. This, this is actually Victor's baby teeth, and they're unusually sharp according to the comment here. And speaking of Victor's mouth, here's Victor's soldier, which is actually Victor's favorite toy. But more interesting than that, we catch a glimpse of Victor's speech pattern. So now we know what he talks like, I guess.
Damn.
Kull bod man.
Crutch,
Victor the
crutch, crutch, cock.
Oh, that made my back. Oh no.
Crutch, crutch, Batman.
Hell no.
It
sounds like a fucking little
This is a
goblin,
spinning
fam.
top, and apparently the twins were
Hush, hush,
fighting
it is
over it at
yours.
some point. You have to remember, these were both kids, and they were siblings, and siblings always fight. A little comment that Charlotte says is, hush, hush. It is yours then. So
Hush, hush.
Charlotte
It
is
is
obviously
yours
the
then.
nicer sibling of the two. And here's a forest stew. And
Debatable,
attached to
but yeah,
this
I mean,
is
they're
a
both fucked
comment
up.
made by Madeline Deshays, the
Eat,
twins'
eat,
mother.
child, you'll feel better when it's
Eat,
done.
child. You'll feel better when
Oh,
it's
okay, I said that wrong. I thought it was like eat the child, but no, it's eat child. Okay, never mind.
This is a silencing cloth, and here's the really interesting description. A coarse strip of cloth that a 5-year-old Charlotte would put in her mouth stopped her from screaming when witch hunters were nearby.
Oh
And
my
that's an
God.
extremely heartbreaking description.
Yeah, that's
This
fucked up.
5-year-old was so terrified of
5
these,
years old, man.
assholes, you know? It sucks.
They're not assholes,
And
they're
lastly,
cunts,
we have
bro.
the iridescent pendant, which is actually a portrait of Madeline Deshays, so we can kind of see what the twins' mother looked like. And here's a little quotation by Madeline herself. Your binding is no curse, my loves. It is your strength to draw upon. And one last item of interest for the trivia is this blade, which is called the Blade of Martial, which is actually a heavily populated city of France. Now, after Charlotte escaped the wooden temple that belonged to the cultists, she became a robber and she used a sickle.
Yeah.
And this is the sickle that she used. And it's pretty interesting that we can pinpoint which location in France Charlotte is based on. And here's a description of the sickle. Tales warned of a demon who skulked the gutters of Martial with shimmering blade in hand. In reality, it was a battered sickle Charlotte stole from a farmer's home and modified it to her liking.
Modified's crazy.
Really cool.
Yeah, with a giant
Dead
nail.
Rising.
I
What the
like how
fuck?
you customize your own kill weapon.
That's what I'm
Now,
saying,
before I give
bro.
my own personal thoughts and opinions on this character, I just want to say props to the DBD
She
team
fucking
for
pack-a-punched.
creating this
What the
entire
fuck?
origin story. It's
Wait.
very well done. So in my
So,
mind, the monster.
How
that
does she get into this world then? Did they?
Just the entity sort of thing, isn't it? Like the entity
just
kind
grab
of likes murderers and things like that and puts them into this dimension. That's like kind of explained in the
Yeah,
entity
the
video,
cult.
isn't it?
Yeah, did the cultists? It probably just worships like Satan or some shit like that. And then,
Yeah, because there was a thing where like people, I can't remember if it was a cultist or another group, like they do worship the entity and things like that, like a dark force. So
Could have
known
been
as the
them.
twins was born with the amount of resistance.
if we got anything wrong, remember to put it in the
against their
comments.
lives.
With
Yeah.
It's
we're learning, you know. So the more you comment and correct us, the more we learn, you know. So feel free to comment. Just don't be a dick about it.
like everyone
Yeah,
that wasn't
don't
their
be-
mother
eh.
wanted these two to die. And if they didn't want them to die, they wanted them to live
Shit,
the life
I felt
of a
that.
disgusting experiment.
Ah,
So essentially,
Look at their little
witch
arms, bro.
hunters, French law
fuck.
made Charlotte and Victor the monsters they thought they were. But I question the morale of the people against the twins
Ah,
even more
gross.
because at the end of the day, they were just sold off to the cultists of the entity anyway.
Oh my god!
So
Oh,
did the
look how it
French
jumps on the
government
head.
use this whole, oh, they're demons in order to rally the people around them to capture the twins? I think it's extremely possible that that was the scenario. But there you have it, ladies and gents. The twins, Charlotte and Victor Dehaze. Dude, I know I'm pronouncing this wrong. What are your personal opinions on the story, the origins of the twins?
Oh,
that
it's
off
so
my
cute! It's so
much for checking out this
cute!
video.
Look at the
I
little
hope you enjoyed it.
baby.
If you guys
It's definitely not a baby, but
have any
look at the little
recommendations for other
goblin.
lore, for horror
That's so
videos,
good.
for
I
horror
have to put my
characters,
hand in
comment
my
down
eyes so I
below.
don't see
Don't
that
forget,
nasty
like,
Look at it. It's fucking adorable.
Oh, it's not.
and subscribe for more horror lore.
Yeah, I
and
think the witch hunters
mysteries.
were right,
And I
bro.
hope you guys
Oh,
So
hell no,
cute,
bro.
bro. It's so cute. Look at it.
I wish the word. I wish the word.
Well, there you go. You can do an outro for this. I will let you stare at the screen and do your final speech, goodbye speech to the world.
I'll just minimize the screen. Fuck, looking at that shit, bro.
What? Looking at
Yeah,
that one,
man.
bro.
I got my Persona 3 background, bro. I'm looking at that. But all I can say is, ew. What the hell was that on my screen? You know, this is the first time I have a lack of empathy.
It's the first time I say I'm happy that child died.
I'm happy for your loss. I'm happy for your loss. I'm just.
This video's getting
I'm
not
your
getting
biggest
monetized
hater.
at all, bro. I'm your biggest hater, and all it took was one fucking look at you, ugly ass bitch.
Oh,
Twins ain't
God,
shit,
bro.
bro. What the fuck?
I'm
No, I
just
like the twins.
bro,
They chill. Victor the goat, bro. Victor the goat.
that nigga looked like a goat. I'm like, yo, get that off my screen, please.
Fuck you.
But I find it interesting, the whole French lore and stuff like that as well. I was like, oh shoot, because it is interesting seeing killers from so many different time periods coming into like one game. I'm like, oh shit. I'm not a big fan of like the first two because the first one was a doctor that deserves to die, and I mean the slowest death.
Oh yeah.
And in this, I'm just like, to put the kids back inside, let them bake a little bit longer. Honestly, well,
Bro ain't stage 4, he's stage 5. Fucking hell. Oh,
I'm like, yo, bro. Somebody put the brownies in and took them out like 10 minutes early. I'm like, yo, bro.
that's crazy.
Nah, bro. But like, it's interesting to see the whole mechanic of the characters. I'm like, it looked creepy as hell, so it works for the game. So I'm like, all right, I'll let it slide. All jokes aside, they're an interesting set of characters. That's the only props you'll get. Because the one character I'm looking for towards like seeing is the Oni. I want to see that shit.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yo, that shit, I'm a hype for that shit, right?
So I guess
Yeah,
we'll get to
that's all I
that
gotta
soon.
say.
But remember, we are slowly going through all the killers. We eventually want to do every single killer, every single survivor, every bit of lore that we can get our hands on. This is only the start. Trust me when I tell you, homies, right now. This is only the fucking start of the content. We have hundreds of videos planned that you have no idea. So, if we look a little tired sometimes in the eyes, that's because we're recording a lot of content for you homies right now. So, drop a like, subscribe, and we'll catch you tomorrow for a brand new video.
Peace.